Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld again. Thanks for stopping by, and just remember, if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that like button. Also, feel free to take a look at some of my other videos if you like. You can find them all in a playlist in the description down below. But anyway, as you may know, the brand new Tactical Shooter Squad released this week, and I've got to say it's actually pretty good. I mean, admittedly, it's pretty pricey for an early access game, and it's still got a lot of performance issues, but it is really a unique experience. Basically, Squad is the spiritual successor to Project Reality, so I guess you can say it's kind of like a cross between Insurgency and Arma 3. And this is a really great point to be at for a tactical shooter at the moment, because how can you go wrong with a game that blends both of these ideas? In this video though, we're going to compare Squad to Insurgency, because I think it's got a lot in common with this game. That being said though, as soon as you get into a match, you will realise how different they actually are, which is why I wanted to make this video. I mean, maybe you haven't decided if you want to buy it yet, so hopefully comparing these two games will give you a better idea of what Squad is all about. And what better game is there to compare it to, because if it stacks up to one of the best tactical shooters on the market today, then it definitely is going to be worth playing. But anyway, to kick off, where could I start without first talking about the scale of Squad, which isn't as big as Arma 3 but is massive compared to Insurgency. And the reason for this is because the server cap is a whopping 100 players, so if the maps weren't as big as they are, it wouldn't be a very fun game. On the other hand, Insurgency has a player cap of 32 players, and the maps are a lot tighter, similar to what you see in a game like COD. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but that being said, you never really get the satisfaction of long-range kills, which are pretty much the standard in Squad. The other thing you'll realise when you boot up these games is that the pacing is very different, and the clips in this video are pretty good examples of this. Insurgency isn't exactly a run and gun game like BF4, but the gameplay is lightning fast compared to Squad, which can be painfully slow. Squad is, like the name suggests, more about working with other players, so the whole idea is to move slowly and carefully to support each other. So don't expect a YOLO run and gun playstyle to work in this game, because you'll just find yourself running into full squads and you'll eventually get cut down very quickly. Now, speaking of squads, well, team play is the key feature in Squad and probably the reason the game is so fun to play. Unlike in games like BF4, people actually work together in this game. And I don't mean just a few people, I mean at least half the server. In Insurgency, people obviously communicate as well, but it's a faster game, so there's less time to coordinate attacks, and even then, people don't really listen anyway. But the reason it works so well in Squad is because if you don't work as a team, you simply don't survive, and it doesn't take long for new players to figure this out. Another neat aspect of team play in Squad is base building, which is a feature that doesn't really have any comparison in Insurgency. That being said, the build system in Squad isn't particularly complex, but you can build basic fortifications as well as things like spawn points and ammo crates. On the other hand, in Insurgency, the map design is pretty much set, but one thing I will say is because of the smaller scale, the maps have a lot more cover to begin with. And this is a level of detail that we're unlikely to ever see in a game like Squad, because the size of the maps already put a strain on most PCs, so naturally the devs are going to be limited when it comes to adding the finer details. Now, speaking of the finer details, the strength of any FPS game is usually determined by its weapons, and on the surface both of these games seem to have a lot in common. For example, both games have a faction-based weapon system, and many of the same weapons are found in both games. The one thing I think Insurgency does have in its favour for the moment though, is the fact that there's a lot more weapons to choose from. And also you can equip attachments on your guns, which is a big deal, because in Squad there's pretty much no customization at all. In general, the weapons are pretty similar in how they work though, and the recoil and damage models in both games are fairly high. It only really takes 2 or 3 shots to take someone out at any range, so even basic assault rifles can be deadly at longer ranges. Both games also use a suppression mechanic, so unlike in BF4, just laying down suppressive fire in either game is a legitimate tactic. But one thing that is different about Insurgency is that you don't need to compensate for bullet drop, which is an important feature on the larger maps in Squad. Now finally, before I finish up, I should make a point about supplies and how damage is handled when you take a hit in these games. And in this respect, the games are very different, because unlike in Insurgency, you can actually heal up in Squad. The healing system doesn't work like it does in BF4 though. In fact, you have to get healed up by a medic like you do in Arma 3. And also, if you do take a hit, you'll have to apply a bandage or else you'll bleed out, so it's not like the healing system makes the game feel any less realistic anyway. In terms of ammo and other supplies, well, in Insurgency, if you want to resupply, you have to run back to your main spawn area. On the other hand, in Squad, it's a bit more convenient because, like I said, squad leaders can build resupply crates, but bear in mind it's not quite as convenient as it is in BF4. And the reason this is a feature is because running back to base in Squad just isn't possible because the maps are so huge. So even though it's not really that realistic that one person can just make an ammo box appear, it is something that's necessary for the game to be fun, so I don't really have a problem with it being in there. But anyway, to finish up, hopefully you can see by now that as similar as these two games look on the surface, there really is a lot here that sets them apart. In a nutshell though, Insurgency is fun because of the gunplay, and Squad is fun because of the team play, so this is an important thing to remember if you're thinking about getting either game. If you do like large-scale shooters though, then you probably will like Squad, and it's a great stepping stone if you ever want to get into games like Arma. So in my opinion, I definitely think it is worth checking out because, like I said before, it really is a unique experience that you can't get in any other game. But anyway guys, that just about wraps up this video, so let me know what you think about Squad in the comments section below, and as always, if you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Also, don't forget to check out the links in the description below if you want to see more of my videos, or if you want to support my channel on Patreon, and until next time, see you later, and have a good one.